Clarence Earl Gideon, a homeless drifter, spent most of his life in poverty. His conditions led him to be arrested and serve prison sentences for theft several times in his life. He had 6 children, all of whom were taken from him by welfare authorities. He worked as an electrician but resorted to gambling because his wages were not enough to support him.
On June 3, 1961, pool hall owner Ira Strickland Jr. alleged that someone had stolen $55 and some soft drinks from him. Nearby resident Henry Cook told police officers that he saw Gideon leave the hall with a bottle of wine and a pocket full of coins. It was him! Gideon was then accused, arrested, and tried on the charges of breaking and entering a pool hall with intent to rob it.
At his first trial, Gideon requested counsel because he could not afford any himself. "I request some counsel." He requested that the judge appoint an attorney for him at the expense of the state, but he was denied under the premise that judges could only appoint counsel for capital crimes. "We can only appoint counsel for capital crimes." He was forced to conduct his own defense, but his lack of experience made his arguments unconvincing. Your lack of experience makes your arguments unconvincing. He was found guilty and sent to jail for 5 years. "We find you guilty." "No, I didn't do it. I'm not guilty." While he was in jail, he studied the legal system. "The judge violated my right to counsel under the 6th Amendment." He prepared an appeal to ask for a writ of habeas corpus, which is a petition by a prisoner that challenges their imprisonment under the claim that the denial to a lawyer violated his constitutional rights, specifically the 6th Amendment, which guarantees defendants the right to a lawyer, public trial, impartial jury, and the information to the accuser, and the 14th Amendment, which guarantees all citizens equal protection of the laws. The Florida Supreme Court denied his appeal, so he mailed a petition for writ of certiorari, which seeks judicial review of lower court decision, to the Supreme Court. The court agreed to hear his case. "We agree to hear your case," which became known as Gideon v. Wainwright after Louis L. Wainwright, who was the director of the Florida Department of Corrections. A. Fortis was assigned to Gideon, and Florida Assistant Attorney General Bruce Jacob was assigned to argue against him. "The average person does not have the knowledge, resources, and skill required to provide an adequate legal defense themselves. We cannot assure fair trials unless everyone has the assistance of a lawyer."
He invoked that the court had established the right to counsel in death penalty cases but not in non-death penalty cases, which is not logical because the 6th and 14th Amendments do not distinguish between types of criminal cases. All crimes resulting in long prison sentences deprive people of their liberty. There is no trivial criminal case because someone's liberty is at stake. Jacob argued that this was a state issue, so the court would be intruding on state powers by entitling all defendants to counsel. He also asserted that because Florida had been following the Betts v. Brady ruling for 21 years, thousands of cases would have to be thrown out. The court ruled unanimously for Gideon, overturning the parts of Betts v. Brady where they had initially concluded that the 6th Amendment's right to counsel was not a fundamental right. They believed that the 14th Amendment did obligate states to apply the 6th Amendment to all criminal cases. The Constitution emphasizes procedural fairness to prevent abuses of power. As long as states had attorneys to prosecute the defendant was entitled to an attorney to defend them. Every defendant cannot be equal in the eyes of the law if they do not have equal access to tools needed to defend themselves. If wealthy defendants can pay for a lawyer, poor defendants should be provided one as well.
The decision had no legal impact in providing counsel, but it set the precedent for other cases. In 1972, the court extended the ruling in Argersinger v. Hamlin so that poor misdemeanants could not be imprisoned without having received legal counsel. Federal courts appointed unpaid counsel to represent poor defendants at first. But 1 year after Gideon, Congress passed the Criminal Justice Act, which provided paid appointed counsel in the federal courts. State courts had many more criminal cases, so they were forced to quickly set up a public defense offices for appointing private counsel.